Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio. Your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome back to another episode of What You Were Never Taught in School. I'm Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, and this is USA Global TV and Radio. And wherever it is that you're watching or listening, I would love if you would go over to our YouTube channels, which are USA Global TV and Radio and Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, and subscribe. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about why visibility matters more than hard work in business. So you may be wondering what it is I'm talking about. And first of all, I just want to share that this episode is for education and awareness. And there is no judgment on how you're running your business or what your business looks like to you. This episode, we're going to examine a really difficult but practical reality for many entrepreneurs, especially service-based business owners, where the thought process is, if I work hard, that's going to be enough. But what I want you to think about is that hard work alone doesn't build momentum. Visibility does, being visible. So the goal is to separate our effort from positioning and helping business owners understand why, even though you may be doing excellent work, you could still be invisible without even knowing it. So we need to have intentional exposure as business owners, but in a certain way. So for the next 30 minutes, that's what I'm going to be talking about. We've all heard the expression, if I work hard and I deliver great results, that's going to speak for itself, or the people will come. And sometimes we believe that if we work really hard, that it's going to be fair in terms of the results. Or if we work hard enough, then we'll get our just dues. So sometimes this can create frustration because we feel like we're really competent in what we do, but yet we don't have the amount of sales that we want to have. We don't have the visibility that we like to have. So the core idea of this entire session today is that even though you may work hard and you're putting in a tremendous amount of effort, that's really private. What is public is visibility. What is it that people see about you, your brand, your team, and your business? So the first section today we're going to look at is hard work versus positioning. So there's really a difference between what output we have and the exposure that we have. And this next part is one that really gets me going. It's basically why being busy does not equal being seen. How many times do you say this? Well, I'm really busy. Well, I'm really busy. What does that even mean? Because you're busy, meaning that there's 24 hours in a day and you're allocating that time to doing certain things, does that mean that you're productive? What is it that the public sees? And you may be thinking to yourself, well, I'm not interested in the public. But if you're a business owner, you are interested in the public. You're interested in customers. Even for private entities, nonprofits, they're still interested in donations. So they still need to be seen. Many small business owners really will focus on the delivery of whatever it is. It's a product, it's a service, but they don't focus as much on the distribution. How many eyeballs are they getting on what it is that they're doing? How many wallets are opening to invest in whatever it is that they're doing? So that whole mindset, that thought process is, oh, I'm in the work. I'm going to keep my head down and stay busy and things will all work out. But what can really happen as a result of that? As a result of that, your growth as a business owner may be stalled. It may not go anywhere. So even though you have a quality product or service, without visibility, that really limits your opportunity. So I want you to think about something that's fairly basic. So whatever kind of business it is that you might have, let's say that you have a storefront or you're in an office building. Well, there's a marquee that typically will list the businesses that are in there. And so someone who's driving by, they might be looking for something. And I'm going to give just, a basic example. What if they're looking for a pharmacy? If the pharmacy doesn't have signage, if they don't have something out in front of their building, then people may not know that they're there. So they may have the most educated pharmacists. They might have the myriad of products that you can get as an addition to whatever it is you're picking up at the pharmacy, but nobody knows you're there. So you're relying on word of mouth. Now, I want to clarify something. I do know of businesses that are only interested in referrals. So it's a referral basis only. Now, for myself, I have 2 active businesses and a third one for when I open a television station in actually a brick and mortar store, which is coming soon. But for my second business, which is Dr. Jacalyn LLC, I do something called private advisory. So private advisory is only a limited engagement, and it's only for people that I personally reach out to because it takes an extensive amount of time. And with everything else that I'm doing, I don't have that much time to do private advisory for more than 4 or 5 people. So I'm not advertising that like I would be advertising the other things that we do. So sometimes it's by invitation only. And there can be reasons for that. It can be a time commitment. It can be a financial commitment. So you have the ability as a business owner to make those decisions. But if that's not your situation, then you probably want people to know about you, because the more people who know about you, if you think about the old sales funnel, the more eyeballs on whatever it is that you're doing, the more opportunities for you to convert something into a new client or a new customer. So what is it that gets in our way when it comes to this? Well, I think it's a mindset. It's a mindset because if you think about, this is something that I grew up with, do this, get that. So in our house, we had this poster board that was on the refrigerator, and we had all the days of the week and then the days of the month. And then my sister and I would have to do certain chores, and we would get rewarded at the end of the week. We would get a certain amount of money. It could be $1, whatever it might be. So to me, it was like, okay, do the vacuuming, empty the dishwasher, and you're going to get a reward. Well, that doesn't mean that's how it always is in business. Business rewards perception as much as performance. So what do I mean by that? We can read stories about A-list celebrities who are dripping in diamonds and getting out of Rolls Royces and Bentleys, and they're actually broke. But they have this perception that they give to people that they have an infinite amount of money, but that's not actually the case. And sometimes that's what we find in businesses. The owner is carrying themselves in a certain way. They're driving certain vehicles. They're living in certain homes, and they look like they're making a fortune, but actually they're not. Everything's leased and could be taken away tomorrow. So hard work doesn't automatically get rewarded. And I think that's something that many of us need to really grasp upon. Decision makers respond to what they see consistently. People associate frequency with credibility. So these are things that trip people up. Just because someone purchases from you more than once, that doesn't mean they're going to be a long-term customer. And I can give a great example. So near where I live, I'm going to talk about grocery stores, for example. There are some very well-known national chains of grocery stores. And for me personally, I don't find joy in going grocery shopping. I prefer not to go grocery shopping. I do pretty much everything on DoorDash. But if I am out driving around and I need an item, I may go someplace very close to me, which is also a national brand, but it's more of a wholesale brand. But I'm not a regular client of theirs. I don't relate to their branding and their identity, but I may stop in because I need something. So because I stop in one or two times, I might be picking up an item, but I'm not actually a long-term client. And that's what I'm talking about with that. So we have to be aware of the fact that just because someone has purchased from you more than once doesn't mean that they're aligned with your branding or your credibility. When we have visibility, okay, when people can find us, maybe it's even on social media, that creates familiarity. And when we keep showing up over and over and over again, we assume that that's going to build trust. But that doesn't automatically build trust. We have to actually demonstrate that what we're doing is resonating with our clients. And so to me, that's one of the big reasons about why not everyone is our customer. Not everyone is our client, because we can't build that kind of trust with everyone. Sometimes people think, you know what, I'll just wait to be discovered. And an example of this would be someone who loves to sing, but they're shy. And they feel like eventually, if they sing in enough local clubs, someone's going to discover them. May happen, may not happen, but it's definitely not a strategy. So, what is the role of consistency as a business owner when it comes to visibility? Visibility must be steady. It can't be sporadic. It can't be you're going to be visible this month, but you're invisible next month. And one thing that comes to mind for me is when someone comes on USA Global TV and radio, we ask them to send their bio and their headshot and their social media links. And many times I will see that business owners are not on LinkedIn. And this is sort of a red flag for me because LinkedIn is an international platform. And why aren't you on there? What is it that you don't want people to know about you, that you don't want to have a profile on LinkedIn? So this is not about judgment. To me, this is just about doing a common sense thing as a business owner. Is you have a place where people can go and verify, okay, Joe Smith is the owner of this business. This is the website for the business. This is how you contact Joe or the business, etc. So we want to have visibility that's steady. And we want to have places where people can go to actually authenticate the fact that we have a business. So just because we might have one aspect that is really strong when it comes to our business, we might have a great sign. People might be driving by and they see this sign. It's like, wow, you get their attention. But that doesn't mean they're going to do business with you. You might have a great website, but that doesn't mean they're going to do business with you. What's going to determine whether or not they're going to do business with you is if you're consistent in how you bring value. You're consistent in how you recognize and reward their loyalty. So this consistency builds authority over time. So what I want you to take away from this section is that visibility works through repetition. Now, this is a place where social media is a great place to market your services. And I've heard a lot of cons from people when it comes to this. And what I've typically found is it's because they don't want to do the work. Social media requires work, it requires effort, it requires exposure. You're putting yourself out there. And so you can do the work yourself, or you could hire someone to do social media posts for you. And I've also heard, well, you know what, there's no return on investment. And that could be true. But I can tell you right now, there are companies that I have found on Instagram, and Instagram is not my main platform, it's YouTube. But there are companies I found on Instagram that I now do business with. I never heard of them. I didn't know about them. And now I do. So by not being on social media, you're missing out on something. You're missing out on all the people who are on social media. And you may say to yourself, well, they're not my clients. Really? How do you know? Just because you're not on social media. And again, why aren't you on social media? And I've heard a number of things about this, but we're talking about business owners. I'm not talking about you with your family photos and your trips and the food that you're eating. I'm talking about being a business owner. Why isn't your business on social media? If you have an opportunity for free advertising, why are you not doing it? Now, I'm not getting compensated for this particular talk. I'm just sharing with you that by not having a social media presence, and especially as a business owner, not being on LinkedIn, missed opportunity. So if you think back to the days when people would advertise in newspapers, remember that? I know there's still some newspapers around, even in magazines. It was so much money. I remember I was approached to advertise in a magazine, which I did during the pandemic. I didn't get any calls from it, zero. I didn't even have anyone follow me on social media, but it was a lot of money. But at the time, I thought, you know what? It seemed like such a good deal that how could I pass it up? Now you can do your own advertising for free. You can go for free on social media. You can even pay for an account on Hootsuite that will send out your information on a regular basis without you having to do anything. But yet people don't want to do it because they don't want the exposure. But if you own a business, you already have exposure. So why not use social media in a way that can benefit you? And if you don't know how to do it, there are plenty of people you can hire. You can hire me. You can hire my team. There are plenty of people out there who can help you with social media marketing. Now, is there an opportunity for you to buy ads on social media marketing? Absolutely. And that's hit or miss. I think you can really see, like, for me as an author, I've paid for Amazon ads. I've paid for Facebook ads. I don't think I got any sales from it, but I'm sure I got exposure. I'm sure people who didn't know of me now know of me. So I am actually willing to spend a certain amount of money not knowing how it's going to benefit me, because we don't always know what the answer is. We don't know what the future is going to hold. So visibility is not vanity. I think this is really important because some people feel like, oh, if I put myself out there, I'm being so vain. Like, who do I think I am? Why would anyone want to buy from me? It's not vanity. It's how you show up with what you're doing. If you're providing education and awareness about what you're doing, then that is a plus. You're giving people information they may not have had before. So this is where self-promotion versus strategic positioning actually comes in. So I am taking a class at Wharton, the Wharton School of Business, and it's Chief Strategy Officer. And so we're learning all about strategy. We're getting case studies about some of the biggest companies in the world and how they made decisions to do what they're going to do. So self-promotion might be you going out there and talking about yourself in some way that you want people to just follow you, like you want to have, what's the word? You want your post to go viral. So today I posted something on Instagram and Facebook. I'm on day 30 of no sugar, no alcohol. I'm down 6.1 pounds. I've never done drugs. I'm not doing any pills or any of those injections. And so I put a post there to motivate other people and share what it is that I'm doing because I'm pretty happy about it. That's okay. I didn't put anything regarding that in alignment with my business. They're two separate things. So you can still be an individual. I'm not going to put it on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a business platform. So you get to pick and choose where you're going to put if you're promoting yourself or if you're doing strategic positioning for your work or even for your book. When you own a business, you do have responsibilities. And in my mind, one of them is visibility. So you can frame it up any way that you want, but if you're in business to make money or you're in business to leave a legacy, you need visibility. Clients are not going to be able to pick you. They're not going to be able to buy from you. They're not going to be able to recommend you if they don't see you. So what is it that's keeping you back from being visible as a business owner? And I want to speak specifically right now to the authors out there. There are many authors who come to us through publicists, which is amazing. And so they're already a step ahead of the game. What they learn is they need PR. They need exposure. If they want to sell books, or they want to have an opportunity to be up for awards, or they want to actually change lives, they need people to be able to find them and read their books. So they hire publicists. They come on platforms like this. They come on television shows. They come on podcasts. If you are an author and you're not doing that, ask yourself, why not? Or you just writing the book for yourself, which is fine. Maybe you're writing it for your kids, which is also fine. But if you are in the public domain, if you are someone who's self-publishing, what is it that's keeping you from publicity? How are people supposed to find you? Do you know how many books are on Amazon? It's crazy. So even if you are not interested in being rich and famous, it's not viable for most of us who are authors. You still want people to know about your books. How can they find you if you don't tell them? So let's say you have decided to tell them. You can't just show up once. You have to show up again and again and again. It's like a relationship. If you start dating someone and you go out once and then you ghost them and you disappear, are you showing them that you're actually interested? No, you're showing them the exact opposite. So you have to consistently show up with messaging. And the messaging has to be what value you are providing for the person who may decide to come along your journey. If there's no value, why would anyone do it? So I recently, I'm not going to say what company it is because I don't feel comfortable, but I recently canceled my membership for a company that I have been paying for many, 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 many years. And part of the reason that I did it was because I was getting results, but I didn't feel like they valued me as a client. I reached out to them a number of times talking about some things that I thought would be of interest, and they got back to me, and then nothing ever happened. And so I don't think I'm special. I'm just a person, but I didn't feel like I'm in alignment with that company's branding anymore because I don't feel valued. And so they no longer have my money. And I'm not upset about it. I'm not angry about it. But in terms of a business, I think they missed the mark. And so as business owners, where are you missing the mark? If you're an author, where are you missing the mark? Where is it that you could invest more time, energy, or money so that you have greater visibility? So I want to go back to the example of the business that you're driving by. They've got great signage, right? So now you're interested. You're like, wow, that company seems like something I could be interested in. Let me look them up. So now you go and you look them up. There's no website. You've got a Yelp review that's not very good, and there's no website. So you go on LinkedIn and you put in the name of the company, nothing comes up. You go on Facebook, you go on Instagram, you go and Google, and really nothing comes up. And you're just like, yeah, I'm not doing business with them. Why? There's no visibility. What is it they're hiding? Why isn't it that they have followed basic protocol for businesses? So that's what I want to say again to authors. And I'm not picking on authors, but we do interview a lot of authors here. And as an author myself, I think I've written 27 books and I have 3 new ones coming out. Why don't you have a website? Why aren't you on Instagram? Why aren't you on Facebook? Why aren't you on LinkedIn? If you're an author and you're selling books, you are an entrepreneur. People are not just going to go on Amazon and find your book. They're not going to walk through Barnes and Noble or Waterstones or wherever, and all of a sudden, boom, they see your books. Because in those bookstores, they have a certain process that they follow. The hardback books from the big names, they go center stage. So you could be buried in the back. I recently was in a Barnes and Noble for the first time in literally years, and I was amazed at how much stuff they're selling in there. Not just books. They've got toys, they got cooking stuff, they've got aprons, they've got wrapping paper, on and on and on. They've got a little cafe, they got Starbucks. So how is someone going to find your book? You've got to be visible. Now, with the visibility comes a price. The price is, yeah, you're in the public domain. What's the problem? If there is a problem, rectify it. Rectify it so that you don't have anything to be embarrassed about or ashamed of. Because if you are writing books, if you are providing services, if you are providing products, you are the face of your business. Until you get big enough where you can separate you from being the sole owner of the business to now you have a team of people, you are the face of the business. Does that mean that people are analyzing everything that you do on social media? Yeah, it might. It might mean that. It might mean that. And so, one thing I'd like to just share, wasn't even planning on saying this today, but I'm going to say it. One thing I'd like to share is if you are a business owner and or you're in the public domain, what are you posting on social media that is negative? Who are you following and liking that is negative? Are you part of the perpetuation of negativity? If you are, it may be impacting your ability to get new clients. So I was very familiar with the headhunting space. I knew a number of people who were involved with bringing people into companies, matching people in companies. And the one thing that was a deal breaker was social media. Social media. We saw on the Jumbotron, those two people who came together and might have been doing something that they wish they hadn't been caught doing, lost their jobs. So if you are putting stuff out on social media, if you're putting stuff out with hatred, you hate this and you hate that, if you're very political, people may not do business with you. And you may say, well, I don't care. I don't want their business anyway. Well, who are there? Who are they? Do you really know? Do you think everyone tells everything? No, I don't discuss my political views. I don't think it's anyone else's business. I'm not standing here on a pulpit going, vote A, vote B. No, I'm a business owner, so I walk the line, but many people don't, and it burns them. So think about how your negativity could be impacting your business. And that's for you to decide. You don't have to agree with what I'm saying. So, what is it we were never taught about this? It is that we can be excellent at what we're doing, but we've got to have exposure. So think of the two E's together, excellence and exposure. We want credibility. That credibility will grow through placement and repetition, where we make ourselves known and how often we're making ourselves known. So, for example, for me, for USA Global TV and Radio, I think I personally have hosted or produced over 10,000 shows, TV and radio shows over the last 4 years. That's a lot. So if you were to Google me, you're going to see a lot of TV shows out there. And I started in radio. So I'm pretty easy to find. So that doesn't mean that you need to do 10,000 shows. That doesn't mean you have to do 10,000 talks. But there are ways for you to get visibility. Excuse me. So hard work is necessary, but it's not enough. When you are visible, you are creating familiarity with you, and especially the business owner talking to people. You're out there talking to people. You're not relying on others. Now, the bigger you get, obviously, you're going to have sales forces, but you're still available. What you were never taught in school is that hard work is an integral part of what you're doing and what you're offering. But visibility is what's bringing opportunity. And so in business, you need both. You need hard work and you need visibility. So how can you get this visibility? There's a number of different ways that you can do it. I already talked about the fact that you can be on social media, but you don't have to be everywhere. Okay. You don't have to be everything to everyone because it's impossible. So you can make a strategic approach for visibility that you're going to be in the right rooms with the right people and the right positioning. So what are some options that you can do? The first is advertising. Okay, you could advertise on a show like this. If you're familiar with YouTube, once you get a certain number of followers, YouTube subscribers, I should say, YouTube will monetize your channel, which means they're going to put advertising on your channel. So you could have a YouTube channel. If you're going to have a YouTube channel, you need to pay for search engine optimization unless you're an expert, because the algorithm continuously changes and people will not be able to find you unless you are doing SEO. That doesn't mean no one will find you, but it doesn't mean the masses will. Advertising buys attention. It gets people paying focus and looking and leaning forward and saying, what was that? Let me write that down. I'm interested in that. Let me screenshot that. It also creates controlled exposure. So for example, if you were going to do a Facebook ad, you write what the ad is, and then that's what gets published. You don't have to be on Facebook and be on Instagram and be on LinkedIn and be on TikTok. TikTok is not a big one for me. I do have a TikTok account, but because we stream from StreamYard and we don't stream to TikTok because it doesn't allow you to live stream unless certain conditions, that's not a place where I spend a lot of time. But there are plenty of people making a ton of money over on TikTok. So maybe the TikTok is for you. So I mentioned advertising, I mentioned social media, but when you're on social media, it can't be random. It has to be strategic and it has to be ongoing. You have to show up over and over and over and over again, bringing value. And so part of bringing value might mean that you have an offering for someone. Maybe you have an exclusive offering for the first number of people. Maybe you're going to give a free download for a certain amount of time. You offer something to people that has value and draws them in. Now, at the same time, I want to share something with you. I have a new book coming out, and let me bring it up because it ties in directly with what we're talking about. The new book is called Stop Giving Away Your Value: Boundaries, Pricing, and the Business of Respect. So part of the reason why I wrote this book is because of my own need for structure. Okay, we all need structure. If you are giving everything away, how are you going to sleep at night? Okay, unless you have taken a vow that you will give everything away. Even extremely wealthy people, they have a certain amount of money that is dedicated to giving back. Okay, they're not giving everything they have. Now, I have read that there are some A-list, I think there are 2 A-list celebrities who basically give everything away. That's an option. But for most of us, it's not an option. So when you keep giving everything away for free and people don't appreciate it, you're losing your value. And in fact, something happened today. I'm not going to mention the person, but a person reached out. They were interested in doing something and they got a really good offer. It was a very low ball price to do it. And the person said, because their schedule was such, they were not going to do it, but they would be willing to pay full price when they have the time. And so I share that because that's a great lesson. If someone does not put something as a priority, it doesn't matter what amount of money you are going to charge them. They're not interested. But if you raise your price and you make it exclusive, then people get more interested. It's like, oh, for a limited time, but it really is for a limited time. You don't put a limited time and it goes on and on and on. You don't say, I'll take 5 people as private advisory clients, and then it's 20. Okay, because then you're not sticking with your word and you're not adding value because it's no longer exclusive. I want you to think about 5-star resorts or leading hotels of the world. I actually am planning a trip to Europe. And I always like to look at the leading hotels of the world. I like to look at the 5 stars and see what are they charging and what are they offering. And then I'm going to look for that somewhere else. So the prices that they charge are for exclusive opportunities. So if you want to pay between $2,000 and $10,000 a night, you can have X, Y, and Z. Well, for most of us, that's not an option. But do we need X, Y, and Z? Do we have to have an infinity pool that overlooks the ocean? It would be nice, but do we really need it? So you look at things that are exclusive and meaningful to you, and what are you willing to pay for it? So as a business owner, you offer exclusive opportunities knowing that they're not for the masses. You don't want the masses. You want the people who see the value in paying for the service that you're offering. So that's why I wrote that book, Stop Giving Away Your Value. Let me find does this sit here? Yes, Stop Giving Away Your Value. You can order this book. It's actually also a course that I'm offering. So you can find my book over on Amazon, and the course you can find on my website. So as I'm bringing this episode to closure, writing books is also a great way to get visibility. Okay, I write books when they are in alignment with something I truly believe or for an event that's coming up. So, for example, I am going to be at the Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia for the Take Steps Walk, and I'm on the board of the Crohn's Colitis Foundation. So I've actually written a book that I will be launching and signing there at the event. So the whole purpose of the book is to have it available at that event. So the book is My Tummy Hurts, A Kid's Guide to Belly Aches and Bathroom Troubles. It's to bring awareness and understanding to children, to parents, to caregivers, to advocates about ulcerative colitis. And the book is about a little girl named Jackie. So it's about my story with ulcerative colitis. So I've written the book because I'm going to be signing it at this event. So that gives me additional credibility. People will be coming to me to get a book that's signed by the author. So in that example, that makes perfect sense for me to write a book because it's bringing awareness, it's bringing credibility, it's bringing visibility, and it's strengthening who I am. Now, I'm sure I will get to meet people I've never met before, and hopefully I'll be able to touch some lives with what I've written. The next opportunity is keynote speeches and TEDx talks. Now, to do a keynote, you may have to start off giving away your value. And I just told you to stop giving away your value. But first, you have to create a need. First, you have to create the ability for people to see you speaking. People have to know what your credibility is, how you're going to come across before they're going to pay you a lot of money to come and speak at their event. So when someone reaches out to you and says, would you be interested in speaking at my event? Many times it's virtual. If it's in alignment with what you do, yes, you certainly can ask, well, how much does this pay? And they may say, well, it's not paying anything, but you're going to get access to an email list, or we're going to feature you on social media. So if you have the time and it's in alignment with what you're doing, go ahead and do it. Now, as I mentioned before, stop giving away your value. I've spoken to people who have told me they've done 150 podcasts in a year or 100 TV shows in a year. My question is, why? Why are you doing that? And they usually don't have an answer. It's basically, well, I want people to read my book. Well, could you find another way to use your time? Like, is that a good use of your time? Giving away your services for free 150 times in a year? I would say no, but you have to decide for yourself. Sometimes people do it as a hobby. People like to be interviewed. So again, there's no judgment. It's what's coming up for you and where do you think the value of your business is going to be. So the next is TEDx. Okay, not everyone can be a TEDx speaker, but TEDx does give you speaking credibility and visibility. They usually record it. It's on YouTube, and you can have that for the rest of your career. I've never done a TEDx speech. I have recently applied. I don't really think that I need to do it, but I thought, well, let's see what happens. And of course, it's a longer process, but we'll see. I have applied and I'm interested in doing it because that stage basically gives you that credibility of being able to say, I was a TEDx speaker. And who knows who you're going to meet. You know, it's interesting. I actually reached out to a well-known publicist and I said, you know, I'm interested, me, Dr. Jacalyn, in having a publicist. And he said, why do you need a publicist? And I said, well, I don't know. I just figured someone in my position. He goes, no, you are the publicist. You are the PR. We're sending people to you because you have the platform. So that's the same thing as TEDx or TED. They have the platform. So if you want a platform where you can share your credibility, you can go ahead and apply at TED or TEDx. So there's a number of ways of getting yourself out there. You can go to networking events. I'm not a big proponent of networking events. I know a number of people who go to them on a regular basis. I find unless they're really curated and a lot of work is done in terms of who's going to be there. It's almost like trade shows. Okay, I've done a ton of trade shows in my career in corporate. I wouldn't do another trade show. So for me, I didn't find a lot of value in it. I find there are a lot of people who are just walking around. It kind of reminds me of a garage sale. I did one garage sale in my life, which I'll never do. But you get a lot of people just looking, picking up the stuff, looking at it. And then you get people who all they do is go to open houses or garage sales. And then they're just looking for things and they want to lowball you on it. So for me, that's not a good use of time. So what it comes back to is you as the business owner have choices about how you can get visibility. If you're not getting visibility, ask yourself why. Why aren't you putting yourself out there? What is it you are afraid of? And you might get offended by that. I'm not afraid of anything. What is it that's keeping you from putting your business in the public domain? And if you go on why and why and why and why, you will come to the answer. And then that's an answer that you have to deal with. And for people who say, well, I don't want to be a public figure. Well, why are you opening a business? You're dealing with the public. Who is your client? Your client is in the public domain. It's like if you were to go into a retail store and you're going to look to a salesperson to assist you, a retail assistant or associate to assist you, and they don't like talking to people. Why are they in that job? That's what their entire job is, to talk to people. So as a business owner, you are the face of the business until you get to a size where it's not just about you. So if you think about Apple, okay, and Steve Jobs, at one point he was the face of the business. And then, no, he wasn't the face of the business because the business has been sustained without him. So that to me is the goal of the business owner. But when we first start for a number of years, if we're lucky enough, if we stay in business long enough, we are the face of the business. Now, for example, at USA Global TV and Radio, I am not the face of the business. Okay, we have a number of people, 30 some TV show hosts. And so if I were no longer to be on this platform could run by itself with other people running it, obviously. It's not just about me. When I first started, this was called Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn, and the website where people would register was drjacalyn.com. And I worked with some business people, and they're like, no, you need to separate it. Dr. Jacalyn has to be totally separate from USA Global TV and Radio. And of course, there was part of me who really didn't want to do that because you've got that control. It's like, oh, this is my business, it's my baby. But to grow, that's what you have to do. So to sum everything up today, what I'm saying to you is that as a business owner, if you want to continue on in business, you need a certain level of visibility. You can get the visibility on social media. Please get a LinkedIn account. Please, if you don't know how to do LinkedIn yourself, hire someone. You can hire our team. There's plenty of people you can hire. Get yourself a LinkedIn account for credibility purposes. Write a book. It could be a small book. It could be, I don't know what the smallest book is on Amazon. It might be 25 pages. I'm not sure. Write a book that you use as your business card. Instead of giving a business card, you give the book. And all your information's in the back of the book. And now the people get to hear from you. And it's something that they can remember. So think about what can you do to bring more visibility to your business. Instead of you working harder, you're going to work smarter. Not working harder, working smarter. And if you love to work hard, I mean, I don't even consider it work anymore. Someone said to me recently, are you taking a vacation? I'm like, this is a vacation. This is my 4th show today that I'm doing. And I only broadcast sometimes during the week, I think Mondays and then Wednesdays, but I have a whole team of people who are broadcasting. So it's an absolute joy that I get to show up and do this. So thank you so much for listening. Here is my contact information. If you'd like to reach out, you can go to my websites, usaglobaltv.com, also drjacalyn.com, or you can email me at drjacalyn@usaglobaltv.com. I would love if you would go and purchase my books. There are 20 plus books that I've already written. And all of them, I think, except for one, have been an Amazon #1 new release or an Amazon #1 bestseller. And my books, some of them are available through the mainstream bookstores around the world. So you can go and take a look through Ingram Spark and the bookstores that they provide books at. So thank you again for listening, and thank you for being here. Please do, I'm going to bring it up again, subscribe to our channels on YouTube, USA Global TV and Radio, and drjacalyn.com. And this way you can be aware of all the programs that we have, not just the ones that I'm doing. And I look forward to hearing from you. Again, my contact details are there in the show notes. All right, signing off for now. We will be back with our next program. See you soon.
In a noisy world, true connection begins with listening. Elevated listening transforms every conversation in just 5 simple steps. Pause and breathe. Set your intention. Listen with curiosity. Reflect back. Agree on one next step. Join the Listening Mentor on Let's Finally Talk with Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, the Listening Mentor, where we help you find inner peace, one conversation at a time. Streaming every day, Let's Finally Talk TV show with Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, only here on USA, Global TV and Radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channels to watch and engage with all our content.
Is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? In a world quick to judge, one book dares to reveal the hidden cost of silence. Discover Holy but Harmful, The Silent Sin of Judgment, How Hidden Judgments Destroy Relationships and Damage Lives by Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. The Amazon #1 bestseller that's transforming the way we understand ourselves and the way we see others. Pick up the companion workbook to uncover your own hidden judgments and learn how to break free from them. Available now on Amazon and at fine bookstores worldwide.
Listen, babe, now. 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 Listen, babe, now.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USAGlobalTV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.